Hello, we're here finally. First, before I start, I just want to apologize to anyone who was on the live and couldn't see us because we were having some technical difficulties today, technology. But we finally figured it out and decided to do it a little bit later. So I'm assuming people will sort of join us, as we go. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to send it on the chat. We will try to get to it. So to start, welcome to another episode of The Healthy Menu. My name is Sonia. I'm your host. And The Healthy Menu is brought to us by Menusano, which is a nutrition analysis software. And you can find out more information at www.menusano.com. Today, I'm here with Sherie Nelson, Director of Wellness at Elior North America. And hi, Sherie, welcome.
Hi, Sonia. Thank you. I'm excited to be here representing Elior and that we're doing.
Nice. Perfect. So before we get into all the different questions, I'm just going to read like a short little bio on you so our readers sort of know who you are, where you're coming from, and what you do. So a little bit about Sherie. She believes food service is the gateway to teaching Americans how to eat for their health. As the wellness director at Elior North America, she has the remarkable opportunity to bring her strong beliefs that food influences health to a large audience, over 1 million customers daily. With nearly 20 years of nutrition, wellness, and food service experience, she currently leads all nutrition and wellness programs and initiatives with Elior segments, including healthcare, higher education, business dining, and K-12. She also contributes to employee wellness programming. Sherie is a registered dietitian, nutritionist with an MBA and Master in Arts of Management. When not promoting wellness, she practices it in her daily life. Cooking and eating well take the center of her plate next to the time she spends on the dirt trail, chasing her beautiful Siberian husky down dirt and snow-covered trails. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we sort of got everything in there about what you do.
Thank you.
So I kind of gave, like your professional bio, a little bit about yourself, but, in your own words, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the Elior North America? Elior North America.
Okay, so Elior North America, I'll start with that. How about that? So Elior North America, family of distinct food service and hospitality companies that serve millions of meals every in K through 12, higher education, so colleges and universities, health and acute care like a hospital and senior living facilities. We're also in that corporate. We serve meals to seniors in congregate meals. We also are in cultural attractions. So, and I'm sure I'm missing a few more, but we do a whole heck of a lot. And so many years of industry experience, and we've all are united by purpose and excellence. So really our mission and our drive is to provide meals every day to each customer we serve so that they in turn can feel their best and in turn can be at their best. So, the intro really covered my role, pretty much focused mostly on our customer wellness programming. So what does that look like? And in our relationship with our partner. So I'm leading all those initiatives, and Sonia, as you said, and I am very proud of that. That took time to work there. And I think, most importantly, I've been working actually in the food service industry for years. I recently counted it just the other day when somebody else in the food service industry. I just started, in my teens in food service, and almost every job been in food. And for the past 17 years, I have been working in different roles. I'm really excited to be in my current role. I do feel like I have a captive audience in the food service industry, and like strongly that it provides just this ability for me to help teach Americans how to eat better.
Very nice. I mean, the healthy menu, that's sort of like what we're all about. We want to talk about ways that nutrition can affect your health, how you can live better and healthier lifestyles through food and nutrition. And I think that's something that's a lot of people are becoming more aware. I think like a couple of years ago, it became really big with like exercise and, living a healthy lifestyle by getting regular exercise and going for walks and things like that. But I feel like people are becoming a lot more aware that, you are what you eat, and that really has a deep impact on your overall health. And I mean, exercise is always good, of course, but nutrition and eating well and what you put in your mouth every day does sort of have a long-term effect on you. So what led you down the journey into wellness?
Great question, and something I love to talk about because I'm pretty passionate about it. I will start with that I just have a general passion for nutrition, and I used to tell me this story about how in high school, the day in health class, and I came home and I was very excited about it. And I actually remember the conversation. I didn't come home and talk about history and math and English the same way. I remember where we were. I had some sort of interest in it. I definitely, I ran cross country in high school. Food played a role in keeping me energized to run. So I saw that. So there was that background, and I think don't really know what you want to do. I knew I wanted to go to college. I started college. I had a really advisor, and I'll thank them if I ever can see them. Again, he suggested that I should go to school to become a dietitian, and I was like, well, what's that? And so I learned about dietitians, and my parents were happy with that choice because job when I was done with school. So I kept moving forward, but exercise has always been a part of who I am. But I do it for hobbies, like a hobby, so it doesn't feel so much like a chore, except maybe when I lift weights in the gym. That might be a problem, and it definitely plays a role in personal wellness. But food, I always come back to food. Influential, what we eat and what we put in our bodies on a somewhat regular basis is going to make an influence, and there's definitely a lot of evidence out there. So I wanted to learn everything I can, bring that and teach people, and I am just thrilled to be at Elior. Very, very rewarding because I love that I can influence all of our locations in promoting healthier lifestyles. And I want to all of our customers, Sonia, I'm not alone on that mission. So I might have that passion and drive. I have support me and support wellness. All the dietitians in the different segments are had so many chef partners that are interested in making healthy food. Right? My marketing partners have been phenomenal. I've just gotten lots of marketing support, though, and really is our operators, though, and our food service directors and our district managers. If you don't agree or buy into the wellness and what we're trying to sell and do, it doesn't go. Like, we have some really great partners, but it really starts, our executive leadership team. They seem to miss, and there is really a business need for it, right? So back in the day when I was working in different roles and started get a proposal process, only occasionally you would see something about how do you promote about it. Well, now it's pretty common. It's almost in every proposal, and to speak to that. So there is definitely a business case for it. And quickly, our price of entry is having some sort of wellness platform. Knowing that need, I developed our wellness platform. It's really based on scientific research.
Mhm.
So we call it Be Well. That's our brand for it. And it's sort of, it's got, a couple, first and foremost, it certainly provides a healthy wellness option because it's really more focused on the food that you can. So, gone are the days of just focusing on calories, cholesterol, and trans fat. Those things are important, trust me. And I understand when you build a recipe with ingredients that are good for you, naturally decreases. Of course, you got to watch your sodium, you got to watch your portion size. So you can control your calories that way. But naturally, some of that comes out. So we're really focused on when we build that wellness option. The second piece to it is we have that philosophy within the platform that we need to make the healthy choice the easy. Common knowledge in the food service contract management industry. There's just so much evidence out there that we really need to make it easier. It's hard to eat and make the best choice for yourself. It's hard to eat healthy daily. A few things that make that easier. Are we making it more convenient to make that choice? That option looks super attractive and at the right price. And does it feel variable to take it? So these are all those things that, we got to think about when we're, environment up, the physical environment. So it's a little easier for people to make that healthier architecture, and you're really just using those nudges. And I'm sure you've had speakers talk about that, gently nudging that right choice. But under that is education, and I think people always need to know the why. Like, why do I need to do that? How do I do it? So really that education, knowledge is power. So we do it with that, and we educate based on our age group and our segment. So there's a lot of uniqueness there, but we're doing things that yes, but we're doing a lot of display table events and sampling and cooking classes, all to just sort of fortify that message.
Right. Okay. Tell us about the Be Well wellness approach. I know you just sort of talked about it a little bit, but can you go a little bit more in depth?
Yeah. Okay. I told you it sort of focuses on that, wellness oriented option. So if we really, what does that mean? Well, that might be a more plant forward option because it's good for us, right?
Okay.
So, and then does it have, or plant-based protein? Like we need protein to stay strong, where they need to be. And then we think about that fat choice. So how built with a healthy fat. So yes, we can eat fat. It's very good for us. And as much as possible. And then of course, that option to include something that was considered a high fiber food, because we know fiber is healthy for us. It's really supporting our gut health, which gut health is linked to what you think of as gut health. It's immune system function, it's mental function. A lot of research bursting in that area that I love to learn and talk about. And then probiotic foods, again, helping your gut. And then we do be mindful of added sugar, right? So added sugar, we know as Americans, we eat way too much, and everything that everybody is trying to do lately is to cut back on sugar. So we're just being kind of mindful. It still tastes good, but we're going to try to keep that as low as possible. So we're not adding up grams in the day. And then I did speak a little bit about, so that's really, yes, for us, we need to have that option. And it's not, we need to identify that option, and we do that with a blueberry. Under that, we also maybe Americanized vegan styles and food allergies. So that kind of fits all under that whole wellness. But then, again, making that healthy choice is the easy choice. So these are things that we're doing in our environment. We're setting the food out at eye level. Maybe it's the first thing you cafe. It could be imagery even, and not food. So it's right thinking about that. It's really then how you merchandise that, Sonia. Like, we have all kinds of marketing materials, let's face it. But where are we putting them to make it sense, to really nudge that customer to make that choice? So there's, we do a little bit of encouragement with that across the board, with what works for each, and then, we're talking about our partnerships a little bit. Like, we're partnering with the key constituents. There's usually wellness committees in some of these places. So we're really just trying to partnership flow. The promotions piece, yes, we offer Be Well, like healthy wellness menu, but that's where I kind of put education into as well, because promotional activities for customer engagement. And then, trying to use technology as possible. Yes, sometimes it has its hiccups, like today, but use that to influence. So how are we best using some digital, like you are aware of, are we using that software? Is it pushing out, nutritional fat? Our customers, why we chose to focus a little bit more on what our wellness option versus like the calorie saturated fat, cholesterol, and they can find that information. And in some cases, we have to post total calories, so people that are calories alone can make their choices on calories alone. But I'd rather have them pick full of nutrition, and it's very nutrient dense. It has, all the nutrients you need, some, your antioxidants, your phytochemicals, all those things that, your body fights off disease and makes you feel well.
Yeah, so like just on the education side, a little bit about sort of how you work with your clients. I don't know. I'm just going to assume that most people sort of like have a habit of eating. So like, how you eat in your 20s is probably the way you eat in your 30s and your 40s. But our bodies change along the way, and we also have to change the way we eat, right, in order to sort of adapt to our age changes. I'm not really sure. So is that something that you find that happens, where you have to educate people who that now sort of have to change their eating habits? How do you go about that process a little bit?
So I kind of take that as like, yes, we have different demographic process with Elior, and I am, trying to make one platform fit for multiple in mind, right? So who is that customer, that base customer, and what kind of information do they need to help influence better choices for them? And I would agree, it might change throughout time. Sometimes it's less, sometimes a little bit more. As we age, we need be a little bit more, focused on that. So that's just one example. So yeah, we look at each of our segments a little bit differently, and we do something a little bit different everywhere. Be Well platform, what we do is in sync with that, but how it's executed off that segment. So for example, I'll talk about our senior meals, so where we're doing congregate meal sites and home delivered meals. To have one menu option. So labeling something Be Well doesn't make much sense. Okay, great. So what does make sense, though, is to really work on our recipe database, some of those Be Well guidelines. So as we're building those, the dietitians are building those menus, more of those types of items that we're looking for. By nature, because they have to hit some sort of they're based on nutritional criteria alone, some standards already. So it's a little bit harder to say, oh, now we have a Be Well option. well, no, we just think we're putting some foods in it that will generally help, right? And really think about that. Really, in their environment, participation and engagement with those seniors. So what they have done, and they really kicked our, was our Be Well kitchen. So that's a teaching kitchen concept, doing some hands-on cooking with those seniors. So the chef, our corporations are going to those sites and leading a class and really, having them. And we really, with those recipes, kind of target that audience, right? So that being those recipes for that audience, because for them, it's about simplicity, but getting the right nutrition. So that has been a unique fit. From the healthcare side of things, they have working out the Be Well kitchen in their senior living, a little bit in their hospitals. It's been a huge in a senior living setting. The residents, it's very engaging and independent living. There's assisted living, so they're still cooking meals for themselves. So they're learning something back to their room and hopefully cooking it in their own kitchen. So that's been really, our hospital setting, you certainly have patients. With patients, you want them to get the proper nutrition. They're not feeling well. So really just getting proper nutrition is, we also have retail areas. So you have a different customer there. Who's your retail center? It's your visitors visiting those patients. It's a lot for a good meal that, can keep them energized throughout the day. So they're there. And so we have, the hospital and just our healthcare division alone there's just so many different, people. On the education side of things, 20s, hopefully we don't carry on. I mean, some 20-year-olds have great eating. We don't carry on, or we learn something when we're in college to build those lifelong eating habits that are success and feeling good and preventing disease down the road, right? It's a little different in that area, and I'm proud to say that our higher education team, universities, Aladdin is the brand. They very much really committed to wellness, and they actually have some corporate, regional, really support those locations. So when we're building something under the Be Well brand, we get a little bit more unique for that college setting. And being really there to help those students. They are just a phone call away, an email away, operators to one very specific program that we developed for them is our sports field, which is encouraging that wellness option, but giving them something very, created for them, because colleges we really needed to make sure that we were including the nutrition in that. And then last one is our corporate dining segment. So corporate chefs and Constellation, adults working, right? So they're working adults, and what are they concerned about? Maintaining their health or their weight or preventing disease. In some cases, diets, they've been told you need to cut your salt, your blood pressure is too high, and then they might be have metabolic syndrome or diabetes. So at how do I be healthy away from home? So we have to tailor for that. Great place where all that nudging and setting up a dining area to influence the healthy into it's really key. But what's very unique then, and I would do in that environment, our clients are looking to help them with their wellness initiatives, right? They want to make sure their employees are healthy. So they're looking for us to contribute and be a part. That's also, something, we have to be really mindful of and make sure that we meet their needs. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should say K through 12. So we have a whole segment built by Elior really focused on where they're public schools, so they're under national school. So they by nature also have menus that are supposed to like certain specific nutritional criteria. So usually you getting through 12 meal is there. The fruits are there, the veggies are there, the proteins, which are usually whole, are there. So how do we do, to make that a little better? I think with the Be Well option, we do recognize it is that we're really looking at those ingredients in the fresh, like how can we make this less processed? So that's really fantastic. But they too, like, are a little different. We have very specific education programs. One's Fresh Picks, focuses on seasonal produce, and that's like a monthly program. So we're really focused on that, and they do little promotions with it, and sampling, and then really of their wellness programs is their Food for Thought, where we really try to engage in tasting new recipes from food groups each year and kind of battling them out and have fun with it to see which recipe do they like. If we focused on fruits this year and we had to like the best, so make kind of a big deal about it. So it's really fun. It's really fun.
Okay, I'm just giving it a minute because I think there's a bit of a delay. Because I can see you're still going. Okay, so my next question, how does, how do you incorporate sustainable ingredients with wellness, especially at a large scale like Elior?
That is a great question. So Elior North America are really on this doing good mission. We're looking to do better each and every day. It includes certainly sourcing products and sustainable ingredients that are grown with as positive an impact on environment and society as much as possible. Right? Really take that responsibility seriously, Sonia, and want to make that positive. And the Doing Good platform is basically our social and environmental responsibilities. And it has like 4 areas in it. So bear with me. One of that, because I think we covered the customer wellness piece, but I do want to make a big shout out to our been working tirelessly to make sure that our employees have also the things. I do some educational things so our employees can choose to live healthy or maintain a healthy lifestyle. They have the tools that they need. So we got to take care of our team members better, which leads me to people. So that's another bucket. Yeah, we understand that we're stronger together. So let's take care of our people and our community. And really value that and value the diversity within each of those communities. Food is another piece. So again, food ingredient. We're always continuously looking on how can we be better at that year over year. I'm going to end with our planet bucket or area because that's where I think it's impact, and where we're trying it as well as our people, but our planet, we're trying to reduce our carbon emissions. It's really a must. It's not a nice to do, it's a must do. So we're trying to control. Our ambition is really to reduce by 12% of our carbon emissions. So we're doing this in so many various ways, and I will talk about 3 that biggest impact points. So food waste. Food waste contributes about 11 to carbon or greenhouse gases emissions. So we got to look at our food waste. So trying to challenge this and tackle this, and we have a program called Waste waste nothing. Really, it's about our kitchens just really working smarter to reduce all that food waste so it doesn't go to the landfill, right? So that process is really taking a look at that overproduction, using or reusing every piece of that plant. Are those recipes innovative so that we're using more, not wasting, looking at those expiration dates? And it might be, taking that perfectly, mating it in some cases. So then also we got to look at, like, our operators need to manage that food waste that's sitting out on, especially on where you have sale bars, you have deli lines, self-serve steam wells, some have cold food, right? So we got to manage that, and we got to track that, and that program will help them do that. There's also the post-consumer waste, which is, we can't do or what they take and what they throw away, but we certainly can offer a little less portion, take away the trays that they put their meals on when they come dine with us and grab. And then I think it just always comes down to the education. Like, let's tell guys this is important. It doesn't work with everybody, but I think everybody needs to know the why and change that day. They might make a change 6 months later because it finally clicks. It finally to reduce my waste. So we got to keep that front and center, and we will continue to push that out at Elior. The second area is our climate smart. Ooh, it sounds really fancy, right? So climate smart menus are really just putting plants in reducing those heavy carbon producing meat proteins that are really committed to reducing beef, particularly on our menu, because beef is one of the producers of carbon or greenhouse gases, excuse me. So that, and even just a little less meat in general, and really trying to work getting a little bit more plant-based proteins. In fact, we recently have taken the forward, this is in partnership with the Humane Society of the United States. Elior is committed to 50% of our meatless entrees in its new developments, and maintaining an emphasis on based options by 2025. So a pretty big commitment. I'm pretty excited about it. So it's really just about any new program we're developing, try to create more plant-based options for our customers. What's really with that pledge is we're actually we're doing a pilot with Forward this next spring, and we got roughly 20 to 30 sites that are going to pilot, and what we're going to be actually making a really big deal about swapping out a meat entree with a plant, and make a really big deal about it and track it and see, what's the perception about it, get some feedback, track that intake, and forward greenhouse gas emission savings. So I think that's going to be fascinating data, and I'm to the project and working with all the team members on that. So probably more to come on that one. Really focused on with the planet is obviously energy. So we operate facilities across the nation, right? And they're not necessarily our facilities. So we got to collect partners to, move over to, energy sources that don't. And so we do have a goal for those kitchens and commissaries we control to gas and water and energy by 14% and move to 80% per city. So I'm sure we'll talk more about that one in the future.
Okay. Do you have any advice for healthy, conscious listeners on practicing wellness and healthy living?
Oh, hour might be hard to get. First of all, I want to just say that we really need to get of eating healthy means I'm eating tasteless food, because there's food out there that is healthy and tastes fantastic, right? Get that cap on and start thinking. But it's really, that's good for your brother, your mother, your sister, your friend, or your neighbor might not necessarily be the way that. So you need to find what health conscious means to you, and else. It doesn't necessarily need to be that you're eating salads and raw day in and day out. That might not be what's healthy for you. So to your own body. So that's another point, is really listening to what you need, and being in my clinical world is really being in tune to your own body, and just honoring it. I have a really great example of that. That chuckle, because I didn't realize this person would ever come to this realization, but worry about their husband who wasn't sleeping very well at night. And he knows when they would go out to eat, and I'm not trying to pick on going out to eat, but he realized he was eating these super meat heavy dishes. And once he figured that out, he obviously was like, okay, I can't do that anymore, because I really do need my sleep. So that was really fun story to hear. But he was listening to his own, very individualized. That might not be the case of why I don't sleep, because I ate too much meat. That was the case. So he listened to his own body and figured it out. And, that I would say diet wise, to go out and make a change, is just really to eat more plants. If you haven't really quite heard that message, it's everywhere, is really trying to get more plants in your diet. I'm not saying to take the meat away. Plants, maybe you eat a little less meat. Wherever you're at, it doesn't mean that you've gone vegan or vegetarian. Don't put a name or a label to it. Just try it, because that is where all our vitamins and our minerals are, antioxidants are, that are really protecting us from disease and kind of keeping our body that would lead to disease. So adding more, preferred as much as possible, and cooked and prepared in healthful ways, obviously. But I'm not going to say is off the table. Like, if you're going to read, because we know it has its place, and packaged food, I just like to tell people, look at that first ingredient. What whole food? Do you know what it is? Or is it sugar? Is it fat? Is it something that choose? And maybe choose the one that says oats first in the package, or whatever it might be. So that's a really good one. And I think I'd say the last point, like I always have to make, is really when you embark on any sort of health and wellness, really being mindful of that information you're taking in. Is it ever, or is it just talk? So you're going to want to really look for organizations and experts like dietitians to information. The Academy of Nutrition, Diet, and Dietetics is a great place to find the different topics on their website that I think over the years they've just gotten providing that. So
yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I think every individual is different, and you gotta go sort of like try what works for you and what works for your body. And sometimes it doesn't work, and you have to do a couple of trials before you find something that you can stick with. And sometimes it's not even just sometimes it's not just about like losing weight, or it's sometimes about getting better sleep, and just changing your diet can help you get there, right? Or
right.
Your mental health. I find that lately there's been a lot of connection between what you eat and your mental health, and if you are struggling with mental health, there are particular things that you can try to change in your diet to help you with that. Do you think that's also part of it?
you know, I'm talking a lot about nutrition, but it's really well-being, and it's total well-being, right? And we know, like, there's all kinds of different that have these different dimensions, and certainly mental, emotional is part of it. And then, a rush of research and data kind of coming out, eating and how it might influence food, or how it might influence your mental, right? So I think, yeah, I agree. There's definitely, you choose to eat. And it really kind of starts, like, I know people want to jump in like butter. Honestly, it just starts first with that balanced plate. So first start half my plate, vegetables and fruits. I always like to put the veggies first, because veggies, fruits are great for you, but veggies shine. And whole grains, is there some whole grains of your whole, grain choices whole? And then what are you choosing for protein? Are you varying that? So it's more about that variety, and not just, make sure it's all plants or make sure it's all meat. Like, what kind of variety are you getting? So, and again, that's slightly individualized for everybody. But if you're really focusing on almost 3/4 of that plate or bowl full of, you're doing something right for your mental health.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your work and your story with us. That was really great. I really enjoyed having you on. I'm sure that we're going to be sharing all your information if anyone wants to contact you directly. That was very informative, and I really enjoyed having you on. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure being here.
I apologize about all the technical difficulties we had today. Hopefully next time it won't be.
To be expected. No worries.
Yeah, technology, right?
Yeah.
For our audience, thank you for joining. We will be converting all of this into our podcast, so you can listen to it at a later time. Join me on November 24th. I will be having another live conversation with Josh Brown, the co-founder of Impact Kitchen, where we're going to be talking about everything that they do, and it'll be a very interesting conversation. So join me again on November 24th. Thank you for listening to the Healthy Menu. Sherie, thank you so much for coming on, and I will see you again.
All right. Looking forward to it.